Picture this. You're walking down a busy, dusty street, peering into a local shop, and you see something that just completely defies the basic laws of nature. In the fascinating historical narrative we're unpacking today, a religious scholar experienced exactly this. He was passing through a city when he stopped dead in his tracks. Inside a forge, he witnessed a blacksmith doing the absolutely impossible, reaching straight into a roaring, blazing furnace and remaining completely untouched by the scorching heat.
Okay, let's dive into this. The scholar was completely paralyzed by shock. He just stood there and watched as this blacksmith calmly pulled red-hot, glowing iron right out of the fire. He wasn't using metal tongs or protective gear of any kind. He was literally using his bare hands. He casually took the glowing metal, placed it on his anvil, and began hammering it without suffering a single burn or blister. It immediately forces us to ask, can a human actually hold fire with bare hands?
This brings us to Section 1, the Fireless Mystery. Naturally, the astounded scholar just couldn't hold back. He walked right into the shop and asked the man if he was some kind of magician or a grand saint. Hearing this, the blacksmith stopped his hammering, let out this deep, heavy sigh, and began a dark, shocking confession. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark moral contrast between these two central figures. Before the crisis even hit, the blacksmith confessed that years ago he was far from a saint. He was actually a deeply sinful man. He lived right next door to a remarkably pious widow who was struggling immensely to raise her orphaned children. The blacksmith harbored some incredibly dark intentions toward her. He was constantly making unwanted advances, but she fiercely and consistently rejected him. Moving to Section 2, Famine and Desperation. The circumstances shifted dramatically when a devastating famine struck the city. It was severe, and the tension escalated rapidly as people literally began starving to death. The widow's situation quickly became dire. On day 1, the starvation sets in. By day 2, her orphaned children are crying uncontrollably from the sheer pain of hunger. Finally, on the 3rd day, having watched her kids go without a single bite of food for 72 hours, she absolutely breaks down. Swallowing all of her pride, she arrives at the blacksmith's door, begging for just a little handful of grain to save their lives. Which leads us to Section 3, a terrible condition. The blacksmith saw an opportunity here. Instead of offering basic human charity to a starving neighbor, he issued a horrific ultimatum. He told her he had plenty of food, but he would only give it to her if she agreed to surrender herself to him that very night. The widow was terrified. She immediately refused his vile offer and fled back home. But then, 2 agonizing days passed. 2 more days of watching her orphans slowly, painfully dying of hunger right in front of her. The psychological toll and the immense weight of a mother's desperation here is just unimaginably heavy. Unable to bear her children's suffering for another second, she returned on the 3rd day. Driven half mad by the agony of watching them fade away, she stood before the blacksmith and uttered these heartbreaking words. "My children are dying. I am ready to accept your condition. Just give me food." It's a moment of absolute, crushing defeat, where basic survival completely overrides everything else. Now for Section 4, the truth of the locked room. We really need to slow down here, because this is where the entire narrative pivots. The blacksmith, thinking he had finally won, took the trembling widow inside his house. He led her into a private room and securely, deliberately locked the heavy door from the inside. In his mind, they were completely alone, but as he eagerly approached her, he noticed something completely unexpected. The woman wasn't just scared. She was shivering violently, weeping silently, with her eyes fixed intently upward. Confused by this, the blacksmith stopped and asked, "Why are you trembling so much? The door is securely locked. Absolutely no one in the world can see us right now." And her response changes everything. "You locked the door and hid from the eyes of people," she said. "But how will you close the eyes of the one sitting in the heavens? He is watching us." This sudden, piercing reminder of an all-seeing God is the absolute emotional pillar of this entire story. And this brilliantly illustrates what happened next. Hearing those profound words triggered an immediate physical manifestation of a spiritual awakening. First, he was overcome with an intense fear of God, his own body now trembling. Second, he stepped back immediately. And third,
Driven by pure remorse, he rushed out and surrendered absolutely every last grain of food in his house to the widow. He was completely broken by this realization. He placed the food before her and pleaded, "Forgive me. Take this grain and go feed your children. You have saved me from the fire of hell today." It's an instantaneous shift from opportunistic predator to a deeply repentant man.
Section 5. The Widow's Prayer. Overwhelmed with relief, the widow didn't just take the food and run. In a highly emotionally charged moment, she raised her dupatta to the sky and right there made a heartfelt, desperate prayer for the man who had just spared her honor. She cried out, "O Allah, just as this man extinguished the fire of my hunger today, make the fire of this world and the hereafter forbidden for him from this day forward." Look at that beautiful, poetic correlation. Because he cooled the burning desperation of her starving family, she asked the divine to extinguish his vulnerability to fire entirely. Which brings us to the final section, Reward of the Fear of God. Returning to the present moment at the forge, the blacksmith looked at the bewildered religious scholar, smiled, and explained that the miracle he had just witnessed, the inability of the red-hot iron to burn his bare hands, was the direct, living result of that desperate mother's sincere prayer. So the crucial point is really captured in these two core lessons drawn directly from the narrative. First, we see the immense reward of fearing divine accountability, especially in complete solitude when literally no human is watching. And second, the destiny-altering power of choosing to help the helpless instead of exploiting their extreme vulnerability. The blacksmith's entire physical reality changed in a locked room when he thought he was completely alone. It strips away all our public personas and leaves us with one truly provocative reflection. What do we do when no one is watching?